YouTube and Facebook friends. You're live with ChantalTV in Paris. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of April. We are on confinement day number 37. 37? There's lockdown? Yes, I think. Day 37. And we're doing another interview chat with somebody you maybe don't know, but let's first see if everybody's joining and then I will introduce him to you. Bonjour, Earl. Good afternoon. Let's see if those comments work. Yes. Taylor Chris, hello, hello. We have Peter. So I see everybody is arriving on Periscope and on Twitter, which is fantastic. And there we have Ronald on YouTube. Hello. And Sophie. Bonjour, bonjour. So it seems to all work. So that is great. Hey, Lily. There we have Anne. I think Anne is following my next guest, if I'm right. And John Thomas. Hello. So, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. There is Stacy, John. Yes. My next guest, an American Parisian YouTuber and an author. I'm gonna introduce him to you guys now. If he wants to come in. Oh, you're very little. Hello. There is.
I'm very little.
Sorry, you are on a very little screen. I want you in my big screen.
Oh.
There you are. Yay, and I give you applause.
Applause
Yay.
for large. That's good.
Oh, welcome. What a show off you are there with your Eiffel Tower in the background.
I figured I'd stand up for a minute to give the appropriate view before I sit back down, get comfortable, and obstruct it with the banister here. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, that is just, guys, you always ask for the Eiffel Tower, and there it is. He has it on his balcony.
I wanted to make sure I provided it for your viewers. I didn't want them to feel like they got left out.
Exactly. That is fantastic. Hey, but Jay, how are you? How are you doing?
Good. I'm hot right now. It's I stepped outside and it's a clear blue sky, which you can see behind me, and direct sunlight. So forgive the sunglasses, but it's the only way I'm going to keep from burning my eyes out while talking to you. But yeah, I'm good. Toasty, tanning, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, that's great. But I think my audience is very curious and would love to know who you are. So where you're from and how did you end up in Paris? Not talking about the book yet.
I was going to say, well, I wrote a book about that recently.
Exactly.
So if they're up for some quarantine reading. No, my name is Jay Swanson. I've been here in Paris for just over 3 years now, but it's my third time living in France. So right out of college, I studied French. It was a major, which I don't know that I recommend anyone necessarily do, but I did it myself and taught English in Nice for a year. And then kind of caught the bug when I actually finally came to Paris. I'd always wanted to live in France as a kid. I don't know why. That's why I studied French. I just had this craving for it, even though I'd never been. Just had a pull, which I think a lot of people feel. But when I got to Nice, I realized that I was wrong. I had been incorrect. And it was not until I got to Paris that I realized that the craving had always been for Paris. It had not been for France at large. And so, yeah, I fell in love with the city. I managed to make it back here a few years later. I went back to the States. Recession happened, ended up volunteering on a hospital ship in West Africa for a few years. And in the midst of that, managed to get back to Paris for one of those years, still working with the organization. And
wow.
Yeah, just made it. I've always wanted to be here. So I was fortunate enough a few years ago to make it back full time. And now I'm here. And thankfully, well, not that I have the choice. I can't leave now, I guess.
No.
But I don't want to. My plan is to be here for at least a few more years, get my dual nationality so that I have no worries about whether or not I can stay. And then I'll figure it out from there. I've been thinking about spending a little bit more time in the Netherlands, to be honest. I love the Dutch. So yeah. there's definitely a craving there.
Oh, very good. Well, if you have your dual nationality, then you can always spend a little bit more time there. But anyway, so you're we see you now there on that beautiful balcony. I'm a little jealous, and that doesn't happen often. Hey, but how is the confinement treating you? What is your routine?
Well, confinement's treating me okay, to be honest. For your viewers who probably have no idea, this is not actually my view. I'm fortunate enough to, through having spent 3 years of my life not making any money in West and Central Africa, volunteering, I managed to meet somebody who was kind enough to give me access to her chambre de bonne, which is a maid's chamber, very small room that I have turned into a cozy little chateau, what I refer to as my chateau, because it's hilarious. It's absolutely not a chateau. And I don't know. I don't know if I should editorialize how funny my own internal jokes are. Actually, that's
No,
not
no, no. But
not a very
I have
not
a
a
lot
charming way to go.
of I have a lot of sarcasm. My audience understands that. If
Perfect. I hope so.
exactly how you say it, that's how they understand it. So don't worry.
Wonderful. I should expect, if you, especially if your audience is Dutch, you guys have a fantastic direct sense of humor. So honestly, like I've tried to keep a routine, and so she gave me access to her apartment. She's not in Paris right now, and so I'm able to come up here, see a horizon, which is nice because from my room I've got no view of a horizon, but it is very cozy. And so I get up in the morning. I've been trying to get up earlier to go for a run before they lock us out of running at 10 a.m. So get up, go for a run, make some coffee, work for a bit. I've been coming up here to work a fair amount because it changes the environment a little bit. Walk up the stairs. Been making a lot of pasta for lunch and dinner. It's pasta. I don't have a kitchen, so I'm very pasta centric right now in my life. Lots of garlic. Garlic has been reintroduced into my diet in force, which is delightful. And so just trying to kind of make a routine around having coffee in the morning, having another coffee in the afternoon, like I am with you right now. And then also trying not to, I obviously was working really hard on getting my book out a couple weeks ago, but now that that's out, I'm still working a lot, but I'm trying to take a step back and give myself a little bit of space to rest as well. So
Yeah.
just trying to take care of myself.
Yeah, because you wrote a book. It's called Sea of the Unknown, which is now available on Amazon, if I'm right. I already see some comments here. I'm just going to say it's Sophie B. She's saying,
Hi, Sophie.
I have Jay's book. It's brilliant, so worth getting.
Oh, thanks.
And a lot of other people that are saying hello. But yeah, so the Sea of the Unknown. What made you decide to write that book?
Just a very quick trip into narcissism. I figured, might as well just get it all out on paper. No, the
we laugh. Da, 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 da.
A lot of things. I guess mainly because I get asked, kind of like what you asked me at the beginning. I get asked a lot about how I ended up in Paris, and because I make YouTube videos about Paris all the time. I just get a lot of people asking me a lot of the same questions, but there are varying degrees of interest in those stories. And it got to that point where I was getting asked enough. I won't say that people were clamoring for the book, but I got asked enough, for those stories, and people were asking for me to write them down or to share them more, that I started playing with the idea. And it's funny because early, like even just 3 years ago in my vlog, people were asking me to write down some of those stories. And I think I had a fan write me an email with a quote from myself saying how like I was resistant, if not never going to write my own autobiography because it would be a little bit too weird and borderline narcissistic to do. And I was like, oh man, I finally came full circle. I just wanted to, I don't know, on the outside, there was that motivation, but honestly, the other side of it was that I found that as I was processing a lot of what I went through in the last decade and trying to really come to grips with some things that had happened in the past, but also really believe that I was here. I was actually in Paris. Like I wasn't at risk of getting kicked out, that I had made at least a successful enough business out of what I was doing to survive off of it, that I wanted to go back and really work through some of the things that were haunting me from my past, whether that was financial or relational or whatever else. And so I found that writing that down actually became a very, very quick way to start dealing with it. And kind of like vlogging for me, I vlogged daily for over 3 years. So for some of your viewers who may not know, that is a thing, and it's not something I recommend. But I was making a video about my life every day on YouTube, and one of the hidden benefits to that I discovered fairly quickly was that it gave me a different sense of perspective on myself and my circumstances and just life in general that really helped me to take a step back and this is going to sound weird, but to really love myself better, because I started to see myself through the eyes of somebody who could love someone else, And so it's this very weird circular thing, but it helped me to give myself a lot more grace with my struggles and my own failures, and really helped me to start to kind of root for myself, which is just a bizarre sentence to say out loud. But then writing this book did that even more, and going back farther to look at things that I really kind of held against myself, or that I really struggled with. And the process of writing that book, this is a long answer to your question, but the process of writing that book, I think one of the real benefits that drew me into finishing it and not just quitting because it felt weird to do, was because I was getting so much out of it, just in a sense of release and and better self-love. So it's a very strange answer to your question, I'm sure, but I think that
Yeah.
that was really a big part of it.
Yeah, because I think I have to also recap a little bit for the audience that doesn't know Jay. So Jay had or still has a YouTube channel where he was basically like Casey Neistat, vlogging every single day his life, his work life mainly, or the way how he was surviving in Paris and building up whatever you just build up in business. You were not talking so much about your love life because that you kept a
No,
little bit outside. That I
yeah.
noticed that. I was always like, oh, he's hiding it, but we want to know more. So I want to know, is that going to be in the book?
Yeah, actually, there's one of the threads. One of the threads is definitely there's one relationship in particular that I dive into, and then there are some little vignettes of really, really bad dates. One of which ends up in a hospital in Spain. So yeah,
Oh,
you'll get
so
some good
so
ones.
so that will be a really good reason for me to read it because I couldn't pull that out of the vlog. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's. I will. By the way, I will just show quickly a picture of the book and of your website so they know
great.
what we're talking about. So it's Sea of the Unknown, and the website is jayswanson.me and then /Sea of the Unknown. That's where you can find all the details to order it. So then you also know what it looks like.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, so you're basically also describing in your book your YouTube story, your how you started that and how you continue that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a big part of it, because I would say that and thanks for doing a little recap there. I Casey Neistat was a really big influence, and that's in the book as well. So it goes back beyond that vlogging, because I've always made videos, I've always written books and told stories, and I've written a whole bunch of sci-fi and fantasy, and it's a really big part of my life. But really, I got to a place where things were really, really difficult, and after the recession a decade ago, kind of got set down a spiral of really difficult times of my own, some of them my own making and some of them not, but trying to find my way, trying to figure out how do I pursue these dreams in this life that I've always wanted for myself, that I thought would be very possible and now seems completely impossible. And in taking a lot of risks and trying a lot of things and really trying, I found myself in a spot where I'd made some cool stuff that I was really proud of, and I'd put in a lot of really hard work, but there was not a lot of reward coming through. And
Yeah.
Casey's vlog, for anybody that doesn't know who Casey Neistat is, like the three of you watching this right now, that don't know who he is, Casey is he's a filmmaker who basically brought his cinematography and filmmaking skills, his storytelling skills, to vlogging, and kind of he was the first one to make little mini movies of his day, which has become fairly ubiquitous now, but it was really revolutionary at the time. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, why have I never thought of this? Like I can do this stuff. I should do this. Like, why haven't I done this? And I just had this burning need to do it because I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I tried early on. I was experimenting with it, and it was so hard. It was so much work. So I did it for a little while, but like failed the first time, actually. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, because like we also see because your story is a little bit parallel to Casey's one, I think, like the way, but then in Paris. Um, but I see him going to a burnout at one
Yeah.
stage, and I think for you, like you saw yourself going there as well at a stage where you were like, well, daily vlogging, that is, I have no life left.
Yeah, very much so. Well, I mean, kind of to kill multiple birds with the same stone here. That's one of the reasons I didn't talk about my dating life in the vlog, was because I was already giving so much of my life away. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm actually really glad I did. I'm really, in the end, I'm really proud of what I made. But as time went on, I was burning out really hard,
Yeah.
and I wasn't enjoying it anymore, and I wasn't feeling challenged or creative in it. It was really just a discipline make it to the end.
Yeah.
But the goal that I'd set myself was just to complete my third season. And it was good because Casey went on. I think it was Philip DeFranco's podcast early on when Philly D started his podcast, and he talked about his burnout, and it was really, really good for me to hear because it was really similar for me. It wasn't the first time I'd gone through burnout. If you read my book, hint, hint, I burned out really, really hard in the Congo. Doing a job that I was doing there, I went into not a medically induced coma, but I definitely was drugged and slept like 13 hours a day for a week. So I've been there before, and I saw it coming, and I think that's helped me to recover better because I've been down this road and I kind of knew what was going on. But it was one of the main reasons that I stopped vlogging daily was because, it was steadily killing me. But to say at the same time, what I was going to say earlier was that vlogging also saved me because I was in this really challenging place where I was living in a town that I didn't feel like anybody really understood what I was trying to do. There wasn't any real support for the creative arts of any kind, and like I was really trying to make it as an author and with some video stuff and really struggling. And so one of the things that YouTube and daily vlogging in particular did for me was it connected me with a small group of people outside of that community that were interested and that did believe in it and that were pulling for me.
That's good.
And
so you build up a big community around your vlogging channel and your book, basically, like in this whole process. And
I mean, over time, for sure. It was the community side was really built around YouTube specifically, for sure, and that vlog. I think the thing is, a lot of people found me because they were interested in learning something about Paris, like how to use the metro or how to visit the Louvre.
Yeah.
But the goal for me was always to give them something to stick around for that was more than that. And not a huge number of people that did it by comparison to how many stumbled across me, but a lot of really awesome people. And in the end, definitely a lot of people. Like I'm very, very fortunate to have the people hanging out and watching my videos that do.
Hey, and so my audience is mainly a Periscope and live streaming there.
Yeah.
And we are super obsessed with the successful YouTube stories because on Periscope, that's just not the same thing because we don't have the same tools. I say we, but, community-wise, yes, but not like, where we can make like nice playlists and stuff. But What is the best opportunity you got because of YouTube? I mean...
Well, I think so. Like we were talking about this a little bit before we started streaming. Honestly, the greatest gift that's been given to me through all this is those people that stick around all the time, and the fact that they, by participating directly, whether that's through Patreon or Super Chat or buying a book, whatever it is, have given me an independence that would not be possible any other way. Like, a decade ago, the business model that, people like me on YouTube can have to make a living creating stuff for a group of people out scattered across the world would have been impossible. I mean, it's amazing what we're able to do now. So because of those tools and because YouTube brought me to those people, suggested my videos to those people, and because they subscribed and stuck around, like really those people are what I owe everything to. And I'm so grateful for them. So I think that's really, honestly, for me, the greatest opportunity. There's some cool stuff that's happened along the way, for sure. But they're the ones that I'm eternally grateful to.
That's very nice to highlight those people that are around you from broadcasting. Then Sophie, she says, how to use the metro was the first video I watched. She says.
Yeah. That's I think that one and the Louvre video are the two that people find through.
The Louvre one. So guys, you really need to check out the YouTube channel of Jay Swanson. I have it like linked, so you can see it. But he is very good in telling you the big secrets of the Louvre, how to get in there. And I even found one entrance that I didn't know about, the one in the Tuileries. Handy. So yeah, that was a good tip. And then of course the metro, that is always, and people love the metro. So which one is the top one, the Louvre or the metro one?
I think the Louvre is the bigger one now. It's newer, but it's actually, if you type in, I don't know if this is true anymore. Your viewers can test this right now. But if you go to Google and you just type in, maybe it was on YouTube. I don't think it's on Google. If you go to YouTube and you just type in the word Louvre, I think my video comes up first. And there was a while there where I was getting a bunch of people over from Beyonce's music video that they filmed in the Louvre.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really funny because for a while I was getting these comments like, I just got sent here from Beyonce. What the heck is going on? Like, so that was really funny for a while. But yeah, so that's my one claim to fame is if you type in the word Louvre on YouTube, theoretically, I'm the first thing that comes up.
Oh, that's very nice. But how do you think like your online career will continue? Like, will it change after this whole post-pandemic?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, but in ways that I kind of needed to change. Anyways, it's weird. We've been talking about this a lot lately, and with cafes and bars and restaurants, all that stuff not being able to open probably until like July or at the earliest.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of my job in the past has been finding tasty stuff that I like and sharing that and giving recommendations, and that obviously won't be happening for a while. And a lot of places that I love, there's a good chance, unfortunately, that they won't open back up. I saw a statistic recently that I don't remember if it was which department was saying this, but there's an expectation that up to 40% of bars and restaurants may not reopen after this.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of really big changes coming that way. But I've also been wanting to slow down my pace. I got into some habits that helped me get through vlogging daily because I had to wake up, film, edit everything all over the course of one day and produce a video and then do it all over again the next day. I never had, time. And so one of the things I've been wanting to do anyways is slow down and try to take just some nicer footage and kind of pace things out a little bit differently in my videos. So I think this is an opportunity, like assuming they actually let us out in May, knock on wood if you got some near you. I don't. I'm surrounded by stone right now, so sorry to bring that up.
Yeah, in Holland they are locked up at least till the 20th, but
of May.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
not to get the hopes up.
Well, it's okay. I hope. Well, and that's the thing. We'll see like what they actually end up letting us do. But I guess right now I'm imagining just going out to some of my favorite places in Paris, outside places, parks and monuments, and just taking my time, like riding my bike to them, filming them a little bit, kind of sharing what that experience is like. And I imagine that at least the content that I'm producing on YouTube will kind of oscillate between my usual like catch up personal type stuff and then going out and just seeing what it's like to be in Paris without tourists.
Yeah, exactly. Because can you go that far? Because we're only allowed a kilometer away.
Right now, no. I mean, yeah, we're only allowed a kilometer away. And I would like to really respect the rules because I want to, also I feel like I should set a good example. So I feel a little bit of extra responsibility there. But I mean, theoretically, when they let us out, like let's say May 11th, we actually are allowed out. I think we'll be allowed to, travel around the city without impediment. It's just that, there won't be a lot to do. And they are going to be asking that people stay home if they can. So I think that for me, since it's something that I do for work, I'll feel pretty comfortable riding my bike to Père Lachaise or Montmartre or something like that and filming a little bit. Yeah, but otherwise, I'll probably still stay home a lot this summer.
Yeah, so. It's just weird because I also know that your streams are depending on your patrons and they're sending you places. If you guys don't know, but Jay has like little questionnaires or whatever, and then they can decide where you're going. Yeah. But that's not going to happen for a while.
No, it's not. I think I'm lucky because that's been disrupted for a while anyways. My whole Patreon, the levels, I've had a couple posts about it. And if you go to my Patreon, it's a little bit outdated right now just because it's still kind of geared mostly around what my lifestyle used to be like. Mm-hmm. So thankfully my patrons by and large are just amazing because they appreciate a variety of different content. That was a really fun, the polls were a really fun way to engage with them. And I look forward to getting back to that. But I think for now, I can still do that. I mean, if I'm allowed to go out, let's say and they're hoping that we can travel within France by this summer, right? Yeah. So, there's a chance that I'd be willing to travel within France a little bit and to go see a little bit more of the country here and so forth. So there's a chance we can still do some polls like that. But I'm really, really fortunate because I think I've tried to build my Patreon to be less of an exchange and more of a way of supporting what it is I'm already doing. Yeah. And so thankfully, I think most of my patrons, they can correct me in the comments right now, of course, if they want to, but most of them are just, are going to be pretty happy as long as I'm still making videos. And if I were to stop making videos, I think that's what they're trying to prevent
Yeah,
by
exactly.
being a patron. They want me to keep making videos, so
Yeah.
I'm really lucky to
And
have
that's
them.
also because it's like a relief in these days. Like they
Yeah,
can watch
yeah, it
you
is.
and you're their little escape. So the little escape to Paris, you know, because they can see you. But then like so you just have been saying this, but you also have been writing the book. So is
Yeah.
your future more leaning to be an author or to be a YouTuber?
Well, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, so I don't know. My future is leaning towards being more and more myself. How was that for cheese?
Ah, yeah, you're so cheesy.
Yeah.
because guys, also Jay also has a podcast, if I'm right.
Also true. Yeah, we do have a podcast. We got another episode coming out. They come out on the 1st and the 15th on payday every month. So if you wanna jump on that, that's actually, and well, the podcast is kind of gearing more towards the writing side. So the idea is that we're trying to build a little bit more of an audience around my writing, because I have written a lot of fiction, and we're looking at revamping that and reapproaching that. So there's going to be a lot of writing in my future, but the reality is that I've always been writing. I've written a lot. So I imagine it'll go hand in hand. I also cannot imagine ever stopping YouTube. If YouTube continues the way that it is, more or less, and I'm still having fun with it, and I have a creative outlet, and I still have all these amazing people that are hanging out watching my silly videos. I don't know. I love it. I definitely see doing both for sure. I think that it'll change over time,
Yeah.
but all good things do, right? And well, everything
Exactly.
changes.
Well,
So
yeah. Well, we have, you know, as they say, we have to be like water. We just
yeah,
move.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
know, that's how we go with the flow. Like
yeah.
you know, if
Be the
you
reed, don't be the oak tree.
exactly, exactly. So have you anything to add to all of this, Jay? Like, is there like a very important message you want to bring besides like go get the book?
Go buy a book. No, well, I think one of the things I've definitely been, because I know for me, I'm in a place where because I was burned out, because I've been working way too much and putting a lot of pressure on myself. I think that's the other thing. I put more pressure on myself than my patrons ever could, anyways. So this has been a period for me of actually kind of getting a break, which has been much needed. But I know there are a lot of people out there that are really struggling, and this is going to be a really hard time for a lot of people. And so I think, if anything, I want to just encourage people to hang in there, and hopefully to know and to feel. I know that what you're doing right here, and I think this is great, and I'm really grateful that you're doing your live streams, because I think that there are a lot of people out there that do need that daily reminder that they're not alone. Like I haven't actually seen another human face, physically in front of me for 6 weeks, and it's really, really beneficial. So first of all, thank you for putting your time and effort into doing what you're doing, and then for anybody out there who's having a hard time, like, man, I just hope you know that we are all in this together, and I hope you don't feel alone, and I hope that time is spent just live streaming from Paris, or on YouTube, or wherever it is you can get your interaction. I just really hope that you can know that we're here for you in the ways that we can be, and I struggle to find the right tone for that, because I know it can sound a little bit silly, but I
No,
don't know.
but
I don't want people to feel alone right now.
no, but I think like you're continuing to stream, you're bringing your book out, like you're giving a little part of you to the world. So I think your audience and my audience really appreciate that, and yeah, I think this is what we can do. We can give them a little bit of comfort, a little bit of Paris, Jay. With
A bit of Paris,
a little Paris. We just
a
gave
little
them a
bit of
little
Eiffel
Paris,
Tower.
exactly, and a little bit of Eiffel Tower. I want to say thank you so much for this
Thank you.
for this
Talk
chat,
to you, Ed.
and yeah, I hope that all the viewers have enjoyed that, and I hope to see you in real life soon.
Me too. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll have to grab coffee and/or a beer when we're allowed to actually see people again.
exactly. Hey, thank you so much, and guys,
Thank
don't
you.
forget to order the book and check out his channel. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.